Hey, folks, good morning and welcome to another episode of Steelers Morning Rush. I'm Alan Saunders. It is Tuesday, March 4th. We have 6 days until the start of free agency. The combine is in the rearview mirror, and it is cut week around the NFL. Yesterday, we saw Darius Slay get cut. This morning already, James Bradbury got cut, and continuing looking for some Steelers cuts to come down the pipeline sooner rather than later. We'll see what the end result of that movement is ahead of free agency. Today, I want to talk about something from the draft, though, that just popped up over the last maybe 24 hours, and that is, what if Shedeur Sanders falls to the Steelers? There was a mock draft came out yesterday from NFL.com that had Sanders falling all the way to the 29th pick in the first round, past the Steelers, with the Steelers passing on Sanders to get Will Johnson, who's going in the top 5 of this mock draft. I'd love to know. Nobody who deserves to be there. I'll tell you that much. If the Steelers had the choice between Will Johnson and Shedeur Sanders, I think they probably would take Will Johnson. That's a good call. Actually, would the Steelers take Shedeur Sanders if he's there at 21? I think that's a very interesting question. Not because I think it's likely, but let's talk our way through it, right? Okay. So Sanders, by all accounts, did not necessarily have a great combine in terms of the interview process. It seemed like a lot of teams were not particularly enamored with him. He didn't throw, so we didn't get to offset that with any athletic prowess or ability, right? So we'll have to wait for the Colorado Pro Day for that. I think the hesitancy about Shedeur Sanders comes in two places. One is that he's just not quite as good as he is being projected, right? I mean, he is probably a top 15 player, maybe first round player. Like that's about where he belongs. I think his skill set is okay. He's athletic. He's not a running quarterback. He makes a lot of mistakes, but you feel like you can live and you can grow with the player. But he's not a sure thing, and he doesn't necessarily have the world's highest upside. I don't think. I think Cam Ward is a better passer, better processor, and is more deserving of that sort of top quarterback label. The second part of this is Deion Sanders. Like, if you look at the teams that are drafting in that middle of the draft, and I understand when you're making a mock draft, let's say you get through the top 6, 7, right? And you don't have Shedeur Sanders going anywhere yet. Are those teams really going to want Deion Sanders looking over their shoulder? Like the teams at the bottom of the draft, or the bottom of the standings, top of the draft, they're generally mid-reset, right? Titans have a second-year coach. Raiders just got Pete Carroll. Patriots just got Vrabel, right? Most of those teams, those coaches have some runway. Those teams that finished 7-10, man, like those coaches aren't generally in a very good spot if they did not get fired. They're not going to want Deion looking over their shoulder. They're not going to want to draft Shedeur Sanders and then have the father of their first-round pick be talking to the media in Colorado every day, answering questions about his son and what they are doing right or doing wrong. Like that's a disaster for a coach in a bad situation. So like I understand the idea of you're doing a mock draft, you're looking at the first round and you say, you what, for whatever reason, I don't have the Browns taking them at 2. I don't have the Raiders taking them at 6. I don't have the Jets taking them at 7. I don't have the Saints taking them at 9. I mean, I think then it starts to be like, where's the right answer here? Like, do the Colts need another quarterback project? Falcons obviously don't need one. The Dolphins, maybe. That'd be interesting. The Cowboys, I doubt it. The 49ers, they're probably going to pay Brock Purdy. The Bears have Caleb Williams. Cardinals have their own project in Kyler Murray, not the Bengals. Like, I don't know. There's not a lot of obvious fits. Maybe the Seahawks. I think that's an underrated spot for them. There's just a lot of places where you can see coaches not wanting to take that on. Teams that have already questionable quarterback situations that don't want to add another question mark to it. I personally think Shedeur doesn't get out of the top 10. I think he'll go probably to the Raiders if I was doing my first round mock draft right now. But Pete Carroll, what's Deion going to say about him? But I think there are definitely some moving parts here that could lead to a fall. Now, would the Steelers be the team to stop that fall? They certainly would not be expecting it to happen. And the last time they weren't expecting a quarterback to be available to them when they were picking in the 20s, they took Kenny Pickett. Will they do that again? I think that's a very interesting question. And I'm not sure we really have an answer to it definitively. I heard some things at the comments at the combine that suggested that they would not be super interested in the mess that surrounds Deion Sanders, but I'm not talking to Omar and Mike at the combine. So I think that's one of those, that's a high level discussion. And I think you got to find a way, if you're the Steelers, to answer that question. It certainly would be interesting. I don't think it's very likely that he gets there, but I'm not even sure that if he did get there, that the Steelers like that. I'm not even sure that it would take Will Johnson also unexpectedly being available for the Steelers to pass on Shedeur 21. I think, just the regular guys we've been talking about, the Kenneth Grants, the Emeka Egbukas of the world, will be enough to be to keep them away from the sort of sideshow part of drafting Shedeur Sanders, which I don't think the Steelers would be particularly interesting. Mike Tomlin, very confident guy. I don't think he would really care about what Deion Sanders has to say, but the Steelers as an organization, I don't know, they've been hearing it from their fans a lot. I don't know that they want to go down that road. I think they've been trying really hard to put their best foot forward lately, and I'm not sure that would be the case with this draft pick. That's all I got for today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications here on the YouTube channel. Until next time, enjoy.